Well students, in the previous class we studied up to the cytoplasm, which means we have studied the cell envelope including glycocalyx, cell wall, cell membrane, then followed by the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, in the previous class we have stopped till the cytoplasm. You know, cytoplasm, it is the fluid filled matrix where all cellular activities are taking place. And here the non-membrane bound cell organelles are present and membrane bound cell organelles are absent. So you will come to know what are the membrane bound cell organelles and non-membrane bound cell organelles, everything. Now we will see what are the structures which are present in the cytoplasm. In the first one we are going to study about the mesosomes. Yeah, what are mesosomes and what is their function? That is very, very important. See, mesosomes, these are the membranous extensions or the inward foldings of the plasma membrane into the cytoplasm are called mesosomes. So, mesosomes are very, very important for the prokaryotic cell because they mainly take part in respiration. So, mesosomes, they are the inward foldings of the plasma membrane called mesosomes. They mainly help in cell division. They help in cell division, DNA replication, and the distribution of DNA to the daughter cells. And they also take part in respiration, secretion, and they also perform enzymatic activity. So, due to all these functions, mesosomes are very, very important for the bacterial cell or for the prokaryotic cell because the mesosomes, they help in cell division. See, at the time of cell division, the cell divides here, again they help in new cell wall formation. So, they mainly help in the new cell wall formation, which means they help in cell division and they also help in DNA replication. See, this is the genetic material. This must be replicated or duplicated. But before the duplication of this genetic material, this will attach to this mesosome. Later, the mesosome get replicated. Then again, the genetic material is also replicated. So, before the duplication or replication of genetic material, the mesosomes will be duplicated. Then, it will provide the genetic material, another copy of genetic material. Likewise, it helps in DNA replication. As it helps in DNA replication, it helps in distributing the DNA into the daughter cells. If this cell divides, so here also one mesosome is there, here one more mesosome, here one DNA and here one DNA, that is called as distribution of DNA to the daughter cells. And they help in respiration. So, mesosomes, they actually contain the respiratory enzymes like oxysomes. That's why they mainly help in respiration. But in case of eukaryotes, mitochondria takes part in respiration. But in prokaryotes, the membrane bound cell organelles like mitochondria is absent. So, that function is performed by mesosomes. And they also help in secretion of certain chemicals and they also take part in enzymatic activity, that is mesosome. And next one we will discuss, that is ribosomes. Yeah, mesosomes, now ribosomes. So we are talking about ribosomes. And these ribosomes are the non-membranous structures which are present in the cytoplasm. Sometimes they may be freely present in the cytoplasm. Sometimes these ribosomes may be attached to the plasma membrane. If these ribosomes are attached to plasma membrane, they are called as fixed ribosomes. If they are freely present in the cytoplasm, they are free ribosomes. Try to understand. The ribosomes, they are usually present in the cytoplasm, sometimes attached to plasma membrane or freely present. But the ribosomes are mainly classified into two types. One is 70S type of ribosomes, other one 80S type of ribosomes. So this 80S type of ribosomes are present in eukaryotes. So we will discuss 80S in the eukaryotes. But the characteristic feature of all prokaryotes is the presence of 70s type of ribosomes. Here also there are 70s type of ribosomes. It is very very important. In all prokaryotes, they have 70s type of ribosomes. So what is this S in these ribosomes? Here S indicates Swedberg number, or it is also called as sedimentation coefficient. Sedimentation coefficient. So you should remember, because you will come to know these ribosomes till completing your second PUC. So you should remember S in ribosome, whether it is 70S or 80S, the S indicates Swedberg number or sedimentation coefficient. So here we are only talking about the 70S type of ribosomes because it is a prokaryote. And this 70S type of ribosome is made up of two subunits. One smaller subunit and one larger subunit. So this is one complete ribosome, and this is the 70S type of ribosome. As I said, it is made up of a smaller subunit and a larger subunit. Here, larger subunit having 50S and smaller subunit having 30S. Together it is 70S. So 70S ribosome is always made up of two subunits, a larger 50S subunit and smaller 30S subunit. Here I told you in the beginning only, you should not add these two subunits. If you add, it becomes 80S. Then how it will be 70S? That I will tell you in this chapter, because we have a separate topic on ribosomes. There I will tell you. So here this is the 70S type of ribosomes in prokaryotes. Then what is the main function of ribosomes? Ribosomes mainly take part in protein synthesis. They mainly take part in protein synthesis. That's why ribosomes are called as protein factories. In all cells, the proteins are synthesized by ribosomes. That's why ribosomes are regarded as protein factories. You should remember, the protein factories of the cell are ribosomes. And here in case of bacteria, you can observe the smaller subunit, larger subunit. So many number of ribosomes are attached to a single mRNA. So this is called as mRNA. So mRNA, remaining different types of RNA, everything you will study in the biomolecules chapter or in your second PUC. You just now remember, so this is a single mRNA on which the smaller and larger subunits are arranged. So simply we can say that many number of ribosomes are attached to single mRNA. So this type of ribosomes are called as polyribosomes or polysomes. If you find a ribosome like this, it is simply called as a ribosome, but here many ribosomes are attached to single mRNA. So now it is called as a polyribosome or polysome. So this is about a ribosome. So ribosomes, they may be freely present in the cytoplasm or they may be attached to the plasma membrane. And there are two types, 70S type and 80S type. But in prokaryotes, which contain only 70S type of ribosomes, and that 70S ribosome is made up of two subunits, a smaller 30S and larger 50S subunits. And here S indicates Swedberg number or sedimentation coefficient. The main function of ribosomes is protein synthesis. That's why they are called as protein factories of the cell. In bacteria, many ribosomes are attached to single mRNA. That's why they are called as polysomes or polyribosomes. So next structure we are going to discuss is nucleoid. Nucleoid. So this nucleoid can also be called as false nucleus or incipient nucleus, or which can also be called as genophore. So there are different names for nucleoid. It can be called as a false nucleus, incipient nucleus or genophore. Why it is called as a false nucleus? Because here the genetic material is naked. The genetic material is naked DNA. It is not enclosed by any nuclear membrane. As it is not enclosed by any nuclear membrane, it is regarded as a false nucleus. Because of the presence of false nucleus, it is called as a prokaryotic cell. So this is very important. The genetic material is present, which is freely suspended in the cytoplasm. But it is always a naked DNA, and it mainly take part in replication or duplication of the genetic material, that is nucleoid. And the next structure we need to study, it is plasmid. Next structure is called as plasmid. So this plasmid is very important. So in prokaryotes, in addition to genomic DNA, they also contain a small circular, which is extra chromosomal. The definition is important. You will get this one plasmid again and again. So you should remember, they are small, circular, extra chromosomal, self-replicating double-stranded DNA called as a plasmid. So what is a plasmid? Plasmid is a small, circular, extra chromosomal, self-replicating double-stranded DNA. You can observe, this is also made up of double-stranded DNA, this is also made up of double-stranded DNA. So it is usually small and circular in appearance. Why it is called as extra chromosomal? Because this is the main genetic material. In addition to this genetic material, there is one more genetic material. That's why it is extra chromosomal and self-replicating. So this plasmid have the ability of self-replication. It will aid the bacteria for self-replication. That's why, because of the self-replicating property, the plasmids are extensively used in genetic engineering as vectors. So all those things you will study in your second PUC biotechnology chapter, how the plasmid will be helpful in genetic engineering. Everything you will study there. Then what is the main use of plasmid? So this plasmid, it provides a resistant to the bacteria or resistant to antibiotic drugs. See, whenever there is a bacterial infection in us, when we take some antibiotics, it cannot able to cure that disease. If that is a bacterial infection or bacterial disease, when we take antibiotics, it cannot immediately cure that disease because of the presence of plasmid. Or if initially it cures, again the same disease occurs. When you take the same antibiotic, that plasmid can able to recognize that antibiotic. It will remember, already you have taken this antibiotic, so I know this antibiotic. Likewise, so due to that remembrance, the plasmid will provide resistance to antibiotics drugs. That is one thing. So that is very important. That's why plasmid have the property of self-replication and provides resistance to antibiotic drugs, chemicals, etc. That is a plasmid. And next one we are going to study is next one, inclusion bodies. So next we are going to discuss the inclusion bodies. Inclusion bodies. Here inclusion bodies are nothing but these are the non-living components which are present in the cell, which are freely present in the cytoplasm, like food reserve and gas vacuoles. The inclusion bodies are mainly gas vacuoles and the food reserve or reserve food material. So generally the reserve food material in many prokaryotes, the reserve food material or food is stored in the form of either phosphate granules, cyanophycin granules or glycogen granules, etc. But in general, in bacteria, you know that the reserve food material is glycogen, oil droplets, volatile, etc. In different prokaryotes, they may be phosphate granules, cyanophycin granules or glycogen granules. So that is the food reserve or reserve food material. Then gas vacuoles. These gas vacuoles are usually present in cyanobacteria as well as photosynthetic bacteria. Then what is the use of this gas vacuole? So these are the gas storing vacuoles. They mainly helps in protecting the bacteria or protecting the organism from harmful radiations. So any harmful radiations cannot harm the organism because of the presence of gas vacuoles, and they also helps in buoyancy. Buoyancy is nothing but floating regulation mechanism or buoyancy regulating mechanism. So gas vacuoles are present in photosynthetic bacteria and cyanobacteria and helps in protecting the organism from harmful radiations, and also helps in maintaining the buoyancy regulating mechanism. So that is about the inclusion bodies. And next one is flagella. See, the bacteria may be motile or non-motile. If they are motile, they have a thin membranous outgrowth from the cell wall is called as flagella. So flagella mainly helps in locomotion. The number of flagella may vary, but flagella mainly helps in locomotion. These are the thin membranous outgrowths which are elongated structures arising from the cell envelope. So this complete thing is called as a cell envelope, and this flagella is made up of three components or three parts. Here you can observe a rod-like basal body. We will be studying in detail about the flagella structure. Now only external features we can observe. So a rod-shaped structure called as a basal body, and a tubular hollow structure called as a hook, which will connect the filament and the basal body. So this is the elongated one is called as a filament. So flagella is made up of three parts: a rod-shaped basal body, a tubular structure called as a hook, and the elongated structure called as a filament. And this filament is the elongated one, made up of a protein called as flagellin. It is made up of a protein called as flagellin. So this is about the flagella and the function of flagella. Next, when you come to the pili and fimbriae. So next is pili and fimbriae. See here you can see a pillars. So this is a membranous tubular outgrowth from the plasma membrane. A single one is called as, in singular it is called as a pillars, and many are called as a pili. So first we will discuss what is pili. So in addition to flagella, we can observe many membranous outgrowths from the plasma membrane, and they do not take part in locomotion. They are mainly pili and fimbriae. So these pili, these are usually elongated tubular structures arising from the plasma membrane, and their number is usually less. They may be 1 to 4 or 6. The number of pili varies from 1 to 6. And what is the main function of the pili? The main function is conjugation. So conjugation, it is a sexual mode of reproduction in case of bacteria, that is transferring the genetic material. See, when another bacteria comes near to this bacteria, through this pili, the genetic material can be transferred to another bacteria. That is called as sexual reproduction in bacteria. Try to understand the pili. These are elongated tubular structures arising from the plasma membrane. The number is 1 to 6, and they mainly take part in conjugation. Then fimbriae. So fimbriae, these are also small bristle-like structures. Like as you see the bristles in case of toothbrush, how the bristles appears in toothbrush. Likewise, here you cannot see there are many membranous outgrowths arising from the plasma membrane, and they appears like bristle-like structures. These are called as fimbriae, and their number varies from 300 to 400 per cell. Here you can differentiate. These are elongated tubular structures. These are small bristle-like structures. and this one it mainly takes part in conjugation, but this this fimbriae, it mainly helps in attachment to the substratum or attachment to the host organism. If bacteria is attached to the substratum with the help of fimbriae, as there are many extensions and bristle-like structures, they helps in attachment to the substratum, but the pili mainly helps in conjugation process. So these are the structures we can able to study. So here we studied about the firstly we studied mesosomes and ribosomes, nucleoid, cytoplasm, pillars, the plasmid, flagella, reserve food material, inclusion bodies, everything we have discussed. Now we will recall the few points that we have studied in this class. So firstly we studied mesosomes. So mesosomes are the inward foldings of the plasma membrane, mainly helps in cell division, DNA replication, respiration, secretion and enzymatic activity. And next one, ribosomes. There are usually 70s type of ribosomes made up of two subunits, larger 50s, smaller 30s, and their main function is protein synthesis. That's why they are called as the protein factories of the cell. And here in bacteria, many ribosomes are attached to single mRNA called as polysomes or polyribosomes. And nucleoid, it is a false nucleus, incipient nucleus genophore, because the naked DNA, because of the presence of naked DNA, and this DNA is not enclosed by a nuclear membrane. That's why it is called as a false nucleus. Then plasmid, small, circular, extrachromosomal, self-replicating, double-stranded DNA called as a plasmid. They provide some resistance to the antibiotic drugs and mainly used in the genetic engineering. Then ribosomes, then inclusion bodies. So here inclusion bodies are gas vacuoles and reserve food material. So reserve food material may be phosphate granules, cyanophysin granules, glycogen granules, volutin, oil droplets, etc. And gas vacuoles are usually present in cyanobacteria and photosynthetic bacteria, provides a buoyancy and prevents from harmful radiations. Then flagella. If the bacteria is a motile which contains a locomotory organ, a thin membranous outgrowth called as a flagella, which is made up of three parts, a basal body, hook and filament. Basal body is a rod shaped embedded in the envelope. Hook, it is a hollow tubular structure which connect the structures, and the filament is the elongated one which is made up of a flagellin protein. And pili and fimbriae. So pili are elongated tubular structures, their number is very less and they mainly helps in conjugation. Fimbriae, they are small, bristle-like, their number is 300 to 400 and mainly helps in attachment to the host organism or attachment to the substratum. So this completes the structure of prokaryotic cell, and we will discuss few objective questions related to today's class. So the first question, prokaryotes are represented by option A bacteria, option B cyanobacteria, option C green bacteria, option D mycoplasma. So here prokaryotes are represented by let us change the option. So prokaryotes are represented by bacteria, cyanobacteria, mycoplasma, option D all of these. So all of these. Second question, staining procedure was developed by option A Christian Graham, option B Robert Hooke, option C Robert Brown, option D Scladen. Here Christian Graham, option A is correct answer. Third question, bacteria cell envelope consists of option A glycocalyx, option B cell wall, option C cell membrane, option D all of these. So option D all of these. Next fourth question, cell wall of bacteria is made up of option A proteins, option B polysaccharides, option C peptidoglycan, option D cellulose. So here bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, option C is correct. Next fifth question, plasma membrane shows inward foldings into the cytoplasm are option A flagella, option B pili, option C mesosomes, option D fimbriae. So here mesosomes are the inward foldings of the plasma membrane. And next question, plasma membrane produces membranous extensions into the cytoplasm which contain pigments are called option A chromosomes, option B chromatophores, option C centrosomes, option D ribosomes. So here chromatophores are the membranous extensions which contain pigments. So this completes the structure of prokaryotic cell. In the next class, we will start up with the eukaryotic cell. Thank you.